everybody. We are here at the 2023 PGA show. I've got Chris, I've got Tony, and I will be your special guest this evening.
Who the hell are you?
Well, I'm Bennett. A lot of you may not have seen me before, but I'm normally behind the camera in social media and content management. But I'm here wrangling these two fools, and we're going to get into it. So, guys, we did a lot. We've done a lot the past 2 days. Demo day yesterday.
That was not a lot.
No, it was not a lot.
Yeah, well, I was trying to guess.
It was a little sad. I wasn't there.
It was.
Oh, that's right. You did.
I didn't go there. No, I didn't want
to. Yeah, preserve the memories you have. That's
what? We're operating at 60% this year?
Demo day, I think 50. It's not what it used to be.
No.
But I guess it's way better than last year. So that's something.
Well, I've heard that was 10.
We're trending upwards.
500 feet, 500 feet.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't there. Still wasn't there. Wasn't there last year. Wasn't there this year.
Do you even know what demo day is, man?
I've heard rumors. It's
a day where we're demoing.
I did do a long drive contest once there, Tony. I'm not sure if you remember that.
We gotta track down the video of you with Coach Jim just getting.
Jim Waldron. If you're out there, Jim.
Anyway.
Coming for you.
Well, today we were on the show floor, and honestly, booth to booth, we were all kind of separated, but if we really want to talk about how each booth is so incredibly different, I mean, a lot of the guys at home don't really know what they look like, how they feel, or what's going on, but I mean, not only are the companies so different, but I mean, Ping versus, let's put Callaway up against, right? I mean, what are we talking here?
There's a lot of difference in the vertical height of the sidewalls of the booth.
The 40 feet walls.
But Callaway's been doing that for a long time, and Ping's booth is Spartan. That's a good word, right?
Spartan, bare, minimalist.
Minimalist.
Well, but the tech inside the booth is.
Oh, it's cool. There's just not much there. It kind of looks like a ghost town, but.
Well, but speaking of Ping, honestly, I mean, if we want to talk drivers, which was basically where we kind of were living today, a lot of you guys have seen the latest to drop, but let's talk about Ping's driver. I know they figured out a lot about their sound. What is the difference? Obviously, the 425, I mean, killed it last year in most wanted testing, but what's 430?
What's the difference between a trash can and not a trash can?
Exactly. One isn't a trash can.
And that would be the G430.
Yeah, it's G430, much better sound. Way better sound.
Compare it to something.
Not a trash can.
Right, okay, a little bit more thud.
It is like the music on a cruise ship. It's
We're going to...
melodic.
Right past that.
It's right where it needs to be. It's what people want.
Okay. That's a great point. Like, 425, it would perform great, but, I mean, what did you say? It sounded like a trash can?
He said that.
Okay.
I didn't technically say that. I did agree.
Maybe
I did
off
agree.
record.
No, I did agree, but it was, and they knew it. I mean, it's a hard thing because as much as we want to say that sound and feel
shouldn't matter,
and it's a cop-out to go, oh, well, it's all subjective because what Tony likes might not be what I like or might not be what you like. But the reality is they can quantify it, and they generally know what's more likely to resonate, pun intended, I guess, with most golfers and what most golfers will generally like. And most golfers did not generally like the 425. So they were able to fix some of that and come up with something that sounded, like I said, I think a little more solid.
Well, why does that even matter? I mean, that, to me, that's one of the lower things on the scale that I think about is the sound of my driver, but I mean, how much and why does that even matter?
That's a good question, but I mean, people want it. Sound and feel are closely correlated, so if it sounds good, it generally feels good, and we like our golf clubs to feel good. It's the reason why so many people rage against forgiving golf clubs, irons in particular, that would probably be better for them. They don't like the way it feels.
I think it also has something to do with perceived value. Like if something sounds cheap,
right,
or if it sounds like you look at other drivers on the market, and you can look at TaylorMade, and you can look at Callaway, and you can look at, certainly Titleist's line, and they're starting to trend towards a more similar feel. So there's an association of premium, and if you're an outlier and it doesn't sound like other drivers that are $600, there might be a perception that it's not worth $600.
Where do you think the Nike Sasquatch would fit in here?
It was a solidly $40 driver, I would think, sound-wise.
At best.
Almost proven the loudest driver of 2023 at this point.
Loudest driver of all time.
Right. But speaking back to feel,
Feel.
there is something that I heard today, and I'm sure all of you back home have heard it too, but nothing really feels like a Mizuno.
That's come up once or twice.
I think we've all heard it. But drivers, that's a little bit different for them this year. I mean, for irons, it's pretty solid across the board. I think we can all agree on that. But have they figured it out with the ST line?
Tony loves them. He says it's the biggest innovation for them.
For them.
For them.
Biggest step forward I've seen from Mizuno.
Let me ask you this question, though.
No.
Okay, fair enough. Moving on.
All right,
No, if
Okay.
if that innovation that you're very high on in Mizuno, and we're talking specifically about the Core-Tech chamber, right? If that were in a TaylorMade or Callaway or Titleist driver, would people just be going apeshit over it?
Somebody would. I mean,
Or more so because it's in that?
see it featured, right? It would be what the carbon fiber face was last year, or 360 chassis is. It's the bigger brands have a greater ability to amplify technologies, and so and Mizuno, to its credit, also maybe to its detriment, in putting a number on it, right? Oh, we're seeing about 1.5 mile an hour faster than if we didn't have this. And that's a number like, oh, who cares? 1.5 miles an hour. Well,
TaylorMade last year was what, 1.1?
Yeah.
And that was a big deal for carbon, right? It was
So it's all how you
1.1.
sell it, and Mizuno, maybe not the best salesman, but it's intriguing. We'll see. Like, looking at the preliminary data from the driver test, it looks like maybe there's a bit of a right bias with the Z, and even with the least drawy, if that's how Vosch described it, the least drawy of the draw drivers this year, even that one seems to be slightly right. Philip's right here, so does that sound good? All right.
Ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
Slightly right.
Huh.
You have that?
We'll see, but it's the best story they've had. It's just their ability to turn up the volume isn't what we see from TaylorMade or Callaway or even Titleist.
Well, I mean, TaylorMade wasn't even at the show this year.
They don't need to be.
Nope.
That's a fact.
Truth.
Well, I mean, so nothing feels like a Mizuno. And honestly, a lot of people have been saying about that for their irons for years. But, I mean, what about the underrated irons that we saw today? Or underrated things in general, right? I mean, Adam and I even walked into the Strixon booth today, right? And he made the point, like, a lot of us are playing Strixon irons on staff. And we all rave about how they feel and how they look even now with the, the Mac 2s. I mean, they're killing it. What's really going on? Why is no one playing Strixon irons?
It used to be that you couldn't find them in stores.
Right.
And that's changed a little bit, but it's Strixon again. It's the same problem, right? You can't turn the volume knob to the same extent that TaylorMade can, that Callaway can. And so it's a great story. But the other thing too, the bulk of irons sold in the market are in the game improvement category, and you can argue that Strixon gets there a little bit with the fives,
series,
but it's not like a Stealth, for example, or a Paradigm.
The 4 series.
Well, just like, of the 5,
They're 5, 4, 5.
Or 585 or 5 whatever,
5.
right?
The one that ends in a 5.
Yep.
Right?
Or starts with a 5.
Yeah. Maybe it's because their naming convention is very difficult to keep track of. I don't know. It's like
I think it's
the game improve-ish one thing.
That's the thing. They don't look that way at all.
Well, they're not bundling in, and they don't have that true player's distance, hollow body type thing. So they have a really good lineup. They look great, they feel great, they perform, but there are a couple spots and key spots in the market where they're kind of missing or they don't fit quite right. And so that's part of it too, but mostly it's because people struggle to say the word Strixon. They don't know how to pronounce it, and they're like, no. When somebody asks what these are, I don't want to be in a position where I'm like,
how do you say it?
Strixon. Strixon.
Well, it's one of the most, those irons have objectively one of the more helpful head constructions. I mean, for the majority of golfers, you know.
I grind, right? A little sole.
Little V sole. I think they don't make as big a deal about being, and I know there's probably a lot of people don't care about where clubs are forged.
Oh, here we go.
But they
Chris
should.
is forging stories.
They should, Tony, care.
Forging time with Chris.
Forging time with Chris. Let me tell you a story, Tony. People, there is a segment that care. And we talked about this with...
His name is Chris.
And I am the entire segment. No, but we talked about this with the drivers a little bit, saying this is a big deal for the drivers because there's a group of people that want what Strixon is relative to a Japanese market. They're kind of a modern version of what JDM is becoming. And for those people, they care, hey, is this forged by Miura, right? Is it forged? I mean, it's the story of Mizuno, right? I mean, nothing feels like Mizuno. They've leaned into that story forever in their relationship with Chuo that you documented on a trip there is really, really cool. And
I ate nothing that week.
You would, I can never say that in my life.
It had eyes. It's like if it's looking back at me, no. All right.
No, ain't gonna happen.
Anyway.
But these are forged at Endo, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because Endo is one of the premier forging houses in the world. A lot of OEMs used to go there until it got too expensive. And they basically found other operations. Now, again, to their credit, some of these companies will say, well, we found similar performance or similar quality.
Just
other
banging
forging.
metal with a hammer, man.
You're just banging metal with a hammer.
Industrial hammer,
But there's still something to that. So you get higher end Japanese companies. Proto Concepts is an example. All their stuff is forged.
Just work that in, right? Your big
I
Proto
know.
Concept
I was
guy.
just gonna
I like
say.
it. Well, I'm just saying, it's something that if you care about Strixon like that, like that's a selling point. It's a talking point. They're made at a premium facility, and that's something that whether you believe it's premium or not, it's different from all the other manufacturers.
Do we have anything for him to drink?
A few times.
Premium, super premium, uber premium, amazingly premium. But I think they don't lean in to that particular piece enough. That's part of the reason I think they do make one of the best feeling irons on the market. When you talk to better players, they say that, and there has to be a reason for that.
Sure.
And I think a big chunk of it is where they're made.
Well, I mean, plenty of us play them on staff. Adam loves the way they feel.
Yep.
Philip has them
Adam
in the bag.
doesn't play golf, but
The one time a year that he does.
They feel great.
I mean,
once a
when
year.
we were out at Oceanside, we played Goat Hill. I have Hanmas in the bag, and I could not stop reaching for Philip's, ZX. I could not stop. They feel great. Do you have them? You have them in the bag?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
Anyway.
Oh. Nope. But
somebody does.
Somebody
does.
else does.
Harry played the Strixons.
Harry did.
Harry did.
I'm pretty sure Harry's in Wilson now.
I did hear that.
Why?
I did hear that.
Exactly.
Dyna power. But speaking to that smaller market that Strixon holds on to, like that's almost asking like what small majority of golfers actually want to play a blade, Why are they?
I mean, is that a question or is that a statement?
I'm just saying both, honestly. Like, yes, there is a majority of golfers who love the look of a blade but don't go after them. Therefore, why make them? Tony?
Gotta have it in the lineup.
He looks like he's struggling.
Gotta have it in the lineup. Looks pretty.
It's creme brulee. Like if you go to any,
You're gonna bang that creme brulee.
Like that coconut cream pie you did last night?
It might just happen.
Woo, folks, you ever want to see a show, just get Chris some dessert.
It might just happen. No, you go to a restaurant, and if you want to know,
Is this restaurant on land or is it on a floating cruise
I
ship?
don't know where we're at right now.
no, it's on more of a cruise ship. You can tell a lot about the rest of the desserts that a restaurant has based on how good their creme brulee is.
Okay.
It's like a benchmark. Absolutely.
I did not know that rule.
No, absolutely.
No, what we're talking about is fantastic.
Absolutely. If the creme brulee's as good, better, you can assume everything else is too. That's a muscle-back iron. So if that company, it's a showpiece. If they can make a fantastic looking, then people will take them potentially more seriously as a company. So you have to have that particular. Yeah, I mean it's forged. They're clean. They're classic looking. From a practical standpoint, most golfers, vast majority of golfers, shouldn't play him, but
So what?
Speaking of classic looking, I don't know what crevices of the 1,000,000 square feet of concrete y'all were looking at the show today, but a lot of classic brands are making a comeback. McGregor, Forged.
A lot of classic logos have been acquired by people who are bringing them back, but it's nostalgia. That's it. End of discussion.
Well, we've just cut that segment nice and short.
Well, comeback, I think, is a strong term.
Well, I mean, honestly, John Barba, was he not sending pictures and tweeting? I'm sure all of you have seen, Snake
John
Eyes-
Barba will
Snake Eyes
single-handedly try to resurrect a brand.
That is very
Look what it
true.
did for Lynx.
That is fact.
Look what it
He's over there,
did
he's laughing,
for
he knows
Lynx.
it's right.
But I mean, John was here for the original Ben Hogan,
Yep.
the Callaway Ben Hogan, the death of that Ben Hogan, the rebirth of Ben Hogan, and then the subsequent recent death of Ben Hogan again. So
Forgot a death and rebirth in the middle of that.
okay,
That's right.
so
Just
yeah,
one more round. Right.
John has seen it all, and he remembers half of it. So
At least. The gentleman that was working on and did the vast majority of the design and creation of them is super solid. So I'm not super surprised that they would be pretty good, but
and there'll always be an audience for that. I mean, to an extent, it's the same reason why some people still love Wilson, because they remember what the brand was 50 years ago,
Yeah.
25, in some cases 100.
Dino-
And so, like, yeah, that
Power
McGregor still resonates with somebody. Zebra, I guess, still
Well, we
resonates with.
saw that with Tommy Armour, the 845. We saw that with that particular piece, bringing those back. How many people had stories? Oh, that was my first set. I mean, I think it was everybody's
I still have a set of
first set.
845.
I have no doubt. So that nostalgia play is, always going to be an element.
Timeless.
Timeless.
Timeless is the original.
Timeless is the original.
Timeless
Classic
is
as
the
though it never
original.
left.
We're
Yeah,
bringing it
it's
back.
And that's, yeah. As long as John Barba is still here, we'll be hearing about those brands.
Well, John Barba can take care of everything, pre-2023, and then bringing back the classics. But 2023 and moving forward, we got to talk about who's making the best irons right now. Right now, today, and you got to give me an answer.
What category? I know I'm not supposed to ask.
Enough.
who's making the best irons?
Best irons right now. And wait,
Sunbeam still make irons?
I think so.
Okay.
not what I was looking for.
All right.
Chris, you're going to give me your answer first. Who's making the best irons in 2023?
Mizuno.
I had a feeling you would say that.
And the reason I say that is top to bottom of the line. So from your absolute, like the 221s, musclebacks, they pass the creme brulee test. They, in some ways, created the creme brulee test. Like they go back, TN87s, you go back to the MP, the 29s and 14s and what Tiger's set was originally. That was kind of a modern standard, if you will, of muscleback irons. And so, yeah, they have that. And then minus the iron that they'd probably rather we stop mentioning, the orange and black 850s.
That was the JPX EZ.
Oh, the JPX EZ.
Chris.
Sorry, I already forgot.
I meant Vosh, but like he should be ashamed of himself.
He should be ashamed of himself. But if you look at what the JPX line has become now,
Yeah.
and it, they have stuff all the way through that real game improvement / super game improvement, whatever, through best players, in the world, and there isn't a gap. There's not a miss in there. I don't see any point of weakness, whereas with some other company, I say, okay, this one's really good, or that one's really good, or yeah, I wish they had something here. I feel like they they kind of knock it out of the park at every different level. So that's why they get my vote.
Okay. I like your answer. Tony.
Mizuno's an easy answer,
Of course it is.
Don't take it easy.
and I know I'm just supposed to argue with Chris a little bit here. So,
Please. It's for the content.
but if I'm arguing against Mizuno, I can make a small argument if I wanted to, make people think maybe I've had too much to drink tonight. I could make an argument for PXG, but I won't. I could, but I won't. The answer is TaylorMade.
Really?
Think about that lineup, top to bottom.
Think about it.
Where you have the blade because you got to have it,
Right.
and then you just progress through the sevens. You get progressively larger, but they're all pretty. You get to this P790, which is, I think, the quintessential player's distance iron. It is. Look it up in the dictionary. That's the one that I would expect to see there. And now, the Stealth and then the Stealth HD irons, which was the missing link in that lineup.
came out the cut a little bit.
What won players distance last year? Wasn't it Mizuno?
Mizuno 225.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just
Which,
didn't know.
by the way,
I just
did
didn't know
you
what
see
was the
those-
quintessential players
Did you
distance
see
iron.
the
Would be-
black versions that we saw?
I saw the black versions.
See, you make me argue with me. He whips out the game.
Um,
Yeah, no, I think.
I'm sorry.
Again, I think.
No, but I agree. I mean,
But part of it too, right? What we're talking about is how complete is the lineup.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Strixon, beautiful irons, things missing.
Things missing.
especially at that bottom
Yes.
end.
Titleist, really good stuff. That hollow body, the
Yeah.
lack of that hollow body player's distance iron, I think that's a miss. It's missing from that lineup. It is
Agreed.
incomplete without it. And yet T100S is great for what it is, but it's not that. And
And
T200 is
isn't
not
where-
that.
And I think Titleist would agree that T200 isn't where they want it to be yet.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, yeah, technically hollow body, I guess, but
Right.
not. It's just not those other things.
But
Right.
they made a black version today.
Well, who hasn't made a black version?
I'm just spitting facts.
I mean, you'll see black everything from the big guys.
Well, actually, and this is a
Two-year
small,
cycle, what do we do? Let's
Small
paint it black.
question, but I mean, the Mizuno 225s that came out in black today, and then also the T series that came out in black today, they're made differently. Because I know a lot of people are concerned about the black either wearing off or blah blah blah. Or the
Same
paint
color,
treatment.
different
Same
finishes.
color, different finishes. What is that?
So Mizuno's, if I'm correct, I think it's a IP. I think it's a plating, right?
Science.
Similar to what they did on the fly high. So it's a little glossier to me looking. It should theoretically wear better again according to them, but biggest difference is like on the face, they didn't do 100% of the club head. So the grooves where the part of the faces where the grooves actually are,
Yep.
that is not
Yes,
plated.
that's right.
So therefore it won't show wear as quickly because you're not hitting that particular part, right? So
They're fine.
Okay.
You don't like black?
You don't?
No, I've said this before. I like black wedges. Don't love black irons, but I'm a big fan of what Titleist did with the titanium carbide vapor. Right? Is that TCV?
He's a man,
Yeah.
sir.
yeah,
I think it looks.
I call it fancy PVD. It's like the best PVD.
PVD.
I know it's not, but it's
Don't-
still vapor applied, same kind.
So remember we said not trash, not trash.
right.
Right.
That's the same thing with the TCV.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
No,
and,
that's true. That's true.
and I was going to use a different word, but I'm going to be nice. But yeah,
It's awfully kind of you.
PVD is crap. Anyway,
It is.
what were we saying?
It is. Yeah.
We talked about some irons.
We did.
I want to get into drivers a little bit. Now, we went out to California. We did a little bit more in depth. Now we're at the show. We've seen it. They've seen it.
Everybody's seen everything.
Everybody's seen everything.
Even
seen it
before
all.
we got to the show, it turns
And-
out no big
and-
surprises here.
And we are, we finished most wanted testing while we were here.
Did we?
For drivers.
Is
Yes.
that- is that a true
Is that true?
statement?
That is a true statement.
Good job.
Verified.
team.
Verified. Go,
Go
team.
team.
Out February 13th on Monday morning. But anyway, back to the point.
Ooh.
We picked our irons. I want both of you to give me your top pick for driver of 2023.
I'll let Tony go first because.
Please do.
What is my criteria?
Oh boy.
What on earth?
You will never get a straight answer.
Oh, well, I knew that
You're
already.
gonna need some
But just pick
practice. Well, are we saying retail? Are we saying
one.
performance?
Selling driver of.
So I was on the record a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, of saying it was going to be Stealth 2. Upon further review, ponderance, kind of listening to the buzz, and maybe it's because TaylorMade is not here at the show, and so nobody's talking about TaylorMade product because there's no product here to talk about. But there's some noise with Paradigm, so I'm coming around to thinking it's probably going to be Paradigm this year.
If people could spell it right,
Well, I mean,
say it right, spell it right.
we're blowing through all kinds of paradigms, and one of those is spelling. So
360
what
all
we
the
do.
way
All the way around.
Right back to the beginning.
So the question is, what's going to be the best-selling
Best-selling driver of
Driver.
2020.
driver at retail driver 2022? Tony says Paradigm. I'd be apt to agree with that, but here's my argument for TaylorMade.
Oh, I'm interested to hear this one.
They're going to sell more
It has a-
than Callaway.
okay.
That's my argument.
That's it. Why?
That's my argument.
Why?
They're going to sell more. I mean, here the reality is, you're going to have Callaway and TaylorMade, and it's going to be close,
I think
right?
it's going to be like a 21%, 20%.
I think it's going to be kind of neck and neck, and I think it's going to be. So what might tip it in in TaylorMade's favor is, I actually think that being able to leverage the carbon one more year might be a good thing. People have kind of heard about it now. Maybe more people have heard. Didn't want to dip their toes in last year because it was
didn't break apart.
right. It was like, hey, first year of this, like, I don't know, does that really work or not? Whatever. I'm going to kind of hold off. And now it's like, oh, okay, and it's better, and there, here's some improvements they made to it. Okay, I kind of like that. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to jump in. Okay. So again.
But did they go 360 and end up right back where
Right back at the beginning.
I can't answer
That's
that.
important.
I can't answer that.
Well, with the carbon response, I mean, everyone, obviously, the anticipation last year was crazy with Stealth, right? I mean, the launch was nuts. Leading up to it, was this the response to carbon that we were thinking it would be in 2023? The drivers?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody. I didn't anticipate, and I'm not convinced anybody else will make a carbon face, because I mean, we talked to people inside the industry, R&D guys, and it's like, oh yeah, no, it's pretty cool that they were able to make it work,
Right.
but we don't see any real benefit other than saying, hey, we have this and nobody else does. It's not any significantly faster by any measure.
And it's a major change and departure. Like, you look at what TaylorMade had to do, right, in terms of like setting up its own factories, right, to be able to produce these in the process. And so, yeah, to TaylorMade's credit, they went down that path, continued to go down that path, came out with workable answers that are really, really good. Mm-hmm. But I don't know that another company is going to look and say, hey, we're going to divert resources from what we're currently doing to go down that path now as well, because no matter whoever does it the second time is now following. Right? Third time is maybe something different, but who's going to take all those resources so that they can now go down a path and do something that TaylorMade just did?
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't. I mean, I don't think that's particularly compelling.
Juice and squeeze.
Yeah.
Juice and squeeze.
I mean, that marketing campaign. Hey, look, we're going to do what TaylorMade did, but we're going to do it our way.
Carbon ears.
Carbon-ear.
Yeah, like, so, no, I don't see it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up here in a little bit, but I want to know, you guys were roaming around in different areas today, all over the place.
Sometimes we roamed into each other.
Sometimes you did cross paths. Sometimes I crossed paths with you guys. A little filming action. Top 3 products we saw today. And please, wow me.
Top 3 products?
Either that you were most excited about or just...
Top 3. Number 1 was seeing John Barba fanboy over Larry the Cable Guy. And I don't care what product that it was the Square. So shout out.
Did you guys even know what booth you were
Yeah,
in?
shout out to Square Shoes. They had a special edition Get Her Done
Right, of course.
pair of shoes.
Do they have like
Absolutely
camo
makes sense.
Larry the Cable Guy?
They're phenomenal. I mean, it was wonderful. So that's my first product
Okay.
by far.
Okay. Larry the Cable Guy or the Square Shoes?
It's a package deal.
Got it. Okay.
Package deal.
First product.
Larry the Squares guy?
Give it to me.
Exactly.
We'll go with the Bushnell Wingman, the Bushman Wingnut, the Bushman Wingnut speaker, the Bushnell Wingman 2 speaker, Bluetooth.
The View, not the 2.
Is it?
It is.
It's the second one.
I don't know. Adam kept calling the small one the the Bushnell Junior.
The Bushnell. It's the second generation Wingman, which you're saying is the View.
Yes.
Which
yes.
makes sense because it now has an LCD display, which
right.
you can use to view your distance. So it's all coming together. It makes sense.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
yeah.
It is a different. It's not It's not a cylinder anymore either.
No, it's
It's
It
triangular.
is triangular.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. That magnet is strong though.
it bites.
It's a bite
It does.
magnet.
yeah,
It
it's a
is.
big magnet.
That is a
It
big
is.
magnet.
So anyway, yes, Bushnell
Bushnell
Wingman View Bluetooth speaker
Okay.
for playing your music obnoxiously loud on the golf course to annoy people 3 fairways
I
over.
was just gonna say at least 3
Yeah.
fairways away.
So yeah, I like that one. That's exciting. Even if I can't say it.
I'm gonna go middle of the road. Mizuno 923, JPX Tour
Over here.
irons.
That's not even. That shouldn't count.
It shouldn't count. Does it have to be something I haven't
Listen,
seen?
everyone has an opinion, Mr. Covey.
Like, oh yeah, what's the newest cool thing you've seen? Oh, this thing I saw 2 months ago.
Oh, well, we're getting boos from the crowd.
Yeah, all right. Well,
Collective.
It's not my fault the industry has anything new to look at.
Well, it is the PGA show.
It's a PGA show. Like, oh, look, somebody spent their life savings on this widget. That's not going to sell.
Well, I mean, we could say that it's really just kind of a technology show at this point, right?
There's a lot of digital techie stuff.
All right, you gotta give us a real number 2.
Really your number 2?
Quit stalling. No.
Fine. My real answer for number 2 would be spiked Duca Del Cosma.
Oh,
How did that shoe test for us?
Phenomenal. Wait, we haven't tested the spike version, so I want to know.
For you or test
So I don't know.
for-
Spikeless?
Yeah, I think they look good. They're
Duca
fine.
Duca or Dookie?
It's a
Fine
fine Italian leather
shoe.
shoe. I believe they're handmade in Portugal. I think they're phenomenal.
Oh, that time.
I think
Wait. Back it up.
Those feel like
Back,
different
back,
countries
back.
to me.
Yeah, that's not even...
I'm just saying.
It's the finest Italian shoe Portugal has
Tell you
ever
what.
produced.
The best thing to come out of that booth today was my double espresso at that coffee bar in the back.
Oh.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was good.
No, that's part of the trick of the PGA show is finding out who's giving out free food and beverage. Although I don't even know what they were selling, but
They got me.
you were
one.
with me when we walked by that place. They had like bagels and everything, and I'm like, show floor bagel seems dicey. I don't know.
Show floor food, anything except for Beth's Burgers. Has anyone tried that? Beth's Burgers?
Never met her.
Oh no, they look pretty good.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard with new products because I'd say the tech stuff. Like, there's a lot of tech stuff, but there's not a lot of new on the hard goods side that we haven't seen. So some of the soft goods stuff.
I'm gonna dive into that Rapsodo, that new.
MLM2 Pro thing. I don't know if we can say that yet, but
It's on display in the show, so
It
we
is.
can
They
say
Okay.
it.
there it goes. There it goes.
But that's not your number 2. I need.
It
your
is
number
now.
2. No.
Yep, I'm
come
taking
on.
it.
Just
I just took it.
Oh, I was gonna be Rhapsody. No, I'm kidding.
What's your number 2?
Number 2. I think perhaps the Putt View VR is kind of the thing that had a lot of buzz. So
The $15,000 glasses.
yeah, there's a price point there that is prohibitive. I will acknowledge, and I don't
We
know.
only help golfers who can afford this.
That's
That's
it
what
seems like this
it's
is a show like,
starting-
oh, that looks awesome. How much is it? 15,000.
Give me 2. Yeah.
Well, they look a little invasive too, right?
our
It's
seats to
not.
Greg.
It's not like little. When you hear glasses, you would think, transition lenses.
It's a goggle.
This thing is massive.
It's like a head unit, like
Yes, a helmet.
like
essentially.
headgear.
Yes.
Like it's,
But it's just that idea, like you can, as you explain, like it's like a helmet. The idea of taking it outside on a real green and go.
I tell you what, if I saw one at the local muni with one of those, I'm turning around.
Like it's gonna get
I'm
real.
getting in my car and I'm turning
It's like the Daft Punk.
insert
People that don't want
image.
to three-putt anymore will wear fucking...
That's the final
this
cure
idea,
for
like,
three putts.
Just to go out on an actual green and go, all right, hole. All right, show me the break, and there it is. But
Doesn't that
Yeah.
take away the fun for it?
No.
No, it totally does. I'm anti-rangefinder. I am anti-rangefinder. Okay? I think it takes the fun out of figuring
oh yeah,
it
no, there's
out.
nothing more fun than not knowing how far you have. You know
I'm gonna
what?
get flamed for that. I
Here's
know.
the thing: you can accomplish the same thing, right? You use the rangefinder, go, all right, that's 150.
Right.
But then I'm just gonna turn like this and randomly grab a club, and that's the one I hit.
And that's way more fun.
That's
think
more.
so.
I mean, that puts
Yeah.
it like,
Oh, come
all right.
on.
I
Sounds
know it's
phenomenal.
150.
Listen, when John Barba first learned to play golf, he wasn't using rangefinders.
Maybe you should have been.
Well,
But were you having more fun?
No.
Okay. I was.
In his defense, he was playing a feathery too, so
fucking niblick.
and the old feathery with a niblick.
I got you niblick right.
He's definitely
Lord,
playing
just
Lynx irons with Laura
holding out
Davis.
for that gutta percha.
Holding on.
Exactly.
It's hard with the new products because there's not a lot.
Well, you're not getting out of giving me a third.
Okay. I got a third one. LA Golf putters.
Ooh, good
Saw those
one.
in person.
Is that
Man.
La Golf.
La Golf. And yeah, so seeing those in person,
Yeah.
their marketing thing has been so hard for me personally to follow. Like I saw a commercial, they had like Joel Klatt on there,
they've got
I
balls.
think, with, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
Joel,
yeah.
college football analyst, wonderful
okay.
guy.
Oh, that's definitely why I don't.
played football at CU in Boulder. But wonderful guy, tremendous family. Had no idea. Like, it just...
It didn't correlate.
At all.
Those
It didn't
things
fit.
weren't marrying
It didn't
very
fit.
well.
So I didn't really get it. And then it's like, oh, we got this putter that's $1,500, right? First it comes out, it has all this stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I think it's almost hard to separate that type of approach with some of the putters I saw today, which, yeah, same company and stuff, but way different price points. Look to me really, really good. I didn't get a roll out of putts or anything, but that's one that I'd be excited to go back. I want to try that out. I want to spend a little time with it and see. It intrigued me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was initially intrigued with their, I almost said intrigued with their balls, but sure. But the putter came in to
It's been
HQ.
kind of day for us.
Well, in defense, their marketing sign, what did it say?
It literally says, "We've got balls."
We got balls.
So,
They want you to know.
okay. But yeah, it came in HQ, and I mean, all of us were pretty impressed. Packaging was pretty sleek, and I mean, the putters look good. They're basic, but they're clean, and they feel preliminary. They feel good.
And they got the sick face, yo.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
They do.
I'm excited to
Sick
see how it
face.
goes in testing, honestly. And they've got a mallet too. That they've got this marble finish going on. I think they look pretty sweet. To be determined.
I don't know. That's my answer.
All right, number 3.
Can I say the putter Barba found? Can we get?
I need photo insert, please. Even if it's not as number 3, I need a photo insert.
The spin cycle? What is this thing called?
Like that.
It's called like the Italian spin cycle, I think.
Please, that
Here,
sounds.
just for your reaction.
Whoa! I don't
Okay.
know if they can see that. Can you see that?
Parker can do
your
magics.
please. Wow.
What is it actually called, Barba?
I have no idea. Fabrizio tried to tell me. I couldn't.
Fabrizio.
All right, so this is an Italian guy, Fabrizio, who didn't speak very much English.
Which
Mr.
song?
Barba didn't speak much Italian.
Italian.
And so what we know right now is
That's what it looks like.
But
Anyway, what's your 3rd?
Ooh, what tells you like I'm struggling to get to 3. It's been that kind of show.
That is true.
I could talk about like that potato launcher golf ball cannon thing yesterday. That was pretty awesome.
Please, please, please.
That's pretty awesome.
All right, well, that pretty much wraps it up. Wasn't too much that we haven't already seen, talked about.
Does a documentary film series count as a product?
Oh, self.
I didn't even talk to Tony.
I thought that was excellent.
film.
I thought that was excellent. That was my
Tony
favorite thing.
is a movie star.
I did a movie with Jordan Spieth. That's how I'm telling it. Jordan Spieth and
Danielle King.
I don't think she was in it.
No, she wasn't.
She was on the show floor today.
She was on the show.
She
floor.
was. I did.
It was.
Brief pass.
I'd say like the stars probably me and Chuck Golden.
Very, very blue.
no, but it was a cool thing. That was a cool thing. So
Yes, yes.
good job, Tony.
Yes. What
That
do they?
was-
Can they watch that?
I don't know what they're doing. So yeah, the part of the story I haven't told is Titleist has released a docu-series on the sort of the evolution of their drivers, really from TS or from the tail end of 17-ish to. They cut a lot of me talking about 913, 915 stuff.
I wonder why.
Because 913 and 915 were not very good.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. So yeah, they cut.
I wonder why they cut it.
They cut some of my best work, I think, but it's still really cool to kind of see something like that come together. And
Cool.
more companies, I think, should do it. Kind of talk of the evolution of their product, and it kind of helps inform people about a brand and who they are. So that's really cool. I think it's probably be on the YouTubes and the social medias, and
On the media.
you can retweets it
I will retweet it. Don't you worry.
and retalk. What do you do with it? Do you retalk?
Retweet TikTok? I don't know.
What is-
Repost? No.
Is that a thing? Or just like, nope, as a TikTok and it cannot be shared.
It can't be shared. It just lives there by itself.
Sorry.
By itself.
That's-
Are you on IMBD now?
I don't think I get a credit yet.
Wikipedia? Something?
No.
No?
Should.
We're gonna
Should.
Tony gets movie star credit from now on, okay?
me and Jonathan Wall get it done. Anyway.
Shout out. Anyway, that wraps it up for our special edition here at the PGA Show 2023 Orlando. Thanks for sticking with us. We out.